You're listening to the Fort Erie Podcast, your local source for upcoming events, hot new listings, and bite-sized interviews with business and community leaders. Here's your host, Brent Jones.
Hello and good morning. It is Tuesday, February 15th, 2022. You are listening to Season 5, Episode 1 of the Fort Erie Podcast, and I'm your host, Brent Jones. Welcome back for a brand new season. We will get to today's guest shortly, but first, wanted to mention that this is in a sense a farewell season. If you listened to the teaser episode I released last week, my wife and I are expecting our first child in April, which we are excited about. But that is going to, of course, mean some changes coming up to the schedule, and unfortunately, podcasting is going to go on the back burner on a bit of a hiatus for right now until further notice. I'd like to commit to saying there will be a Season 6, but if there is, I don't know exactly when that will happen. So for right now, we're going to do it. I think it's kind of like what Ellen's doing on TV, right? Except a bit less dancing over here. But this is going to be the farewell season, kind of a so long for now. Nonetheless, I've got 6 brand new episodes coming up for you from now through to the end of March. So let's dive into today's episode, beginning first with some local news headlines. The 87th running of the Middle Jewel in the race for the Triple Crown of Canadian horse racing will once again run in September at the Fort Erie Racetrack, thanks in no small part to the COVID-19 pandemic. So this year's race will take place Tuesday, September 13th, sandwiched right in between the Queen's Plate and the Breeders' Stakes. Both run at Woodbine Raceway. I assume those of you who are well-versed in horse racing know exactly what I'm talking about here. This will mark the 3rd year in a row where the event for Canada's top 3-year-old thoroughbreds will be held in September rather than the traditional July date. And then the other big news headline that I wanted to touch on here that you may have already heard of by now is that Niagara Health says that the urgent care center at Douglas Memorial Hospital here in Fort Erie will reopen at, I believe it's 8 a.m. on February 23rd. And in addition to reopening the urgent care center, it also sounds like the health system will begin a gradual resumption of surgical, procedural, and outpatient services starting possibly even this week by the looks of it. You can find links to both of these stories, to the full stories, in the show notes below this episode. On to this week's hot new listing. My pick for hot new listing this week is 3731 Concord Avenue in Crystal Beach. This beautiful property is listed by my teammate, Lisa Little Brown at RE/MAX Niagara. This property is fully renovated, 4 bedrooms, I believe 2 bathrooms, on a huge lot, 82 by 175 feet, listed at $799.9 with an offer presentation coming up this Thursday, so in just a couple of days. For more information about this property or to book a viewing, you can contact Lisa directly. You can check out the link in the show notes below this episode, or you can contact yours truly, Brent Jones, here at RE/MAX Niagara. Let's see what's on your minds this week, Fort Erie. I'm checking in with the Fort Erie Questions and Answers Facebook group this morning. Chris asks, is Taco Bell hiring? Hey, by the way, that probably should have been another news story to touch on just a moment ago, but Fort Erie's Taco Bell on Garrison Road is now opened, and the answer appears to be yes, Taco Bell is hiring, and you can apply via Indeed. Shannon says she is in search of a piano teacher for a 7-year-old. There were a number of different responses in the comments, but the top response that I saw was Fort Erie School of Music. And some of you may recall that Rob Rolston was previously a guest on the podcast, but Fort Erie School of Music seems to be the place to take your 7-year-old for piano lessons. So we're going to get into today's interview in just a moment. I'm going to be speaking today with mother and daughter duo Carol and Alexandra LaChavita of the Village Boutique in Ridgeway. But before we get into that interview, there's a couple of things that you need to know, dear listener. First and foremost, last week I promised in the Season 5 kind of teaser episode that a big announcement would be made here today by these ladies on the Fort Erie podcast. It would be made here first. But if you follow the Village Boutique on Facebook, it appears the cat is already out of the bag. But for all intents and purposes, I'm going to play the interview exactly as it happened. And, we're all going to pretend that this is the first time we're hearing about it. All right. So that's point number 1. It's a big announcement. It's exciting regardless. All right. Number two, the second thing I wanted to touch on is that due in no small part to some, public health restrictions, different people's comfort levels, these past 2 seasons of the Fort Erie podcast, I've used Zoom to record episodes. And Zoom is great because, I can chat with guests virtually. We don't necessarily have to be in the same room. We don't have to be kind of, hooked up to mics right beside each other. And when you record using Zoom, sometimes the result comes out great and sometimes not. And unfortunately, this interview with Carol and Alexandra is one of those times where the recording itself didn't come out great. There was quite a bit of echo. There was some volume leveling issues. There were some different glitches. So it sounds less than perfect. I paid a professional out of pocket to clean up the audio files so it sounded as good as it possibly could, but there's still a little bit of interference here. Regardless, it was a great conversation. We had a great chat. So here we go. Here's my chat with Carol and Alexandra. All right, folks, welcome back. I have the pleasure today of sitting down with mother and daughter team Carol and Alexandra La Chavita. Did I say that right? Perfect. Okay, of the Village Boutique in Ridgeway. Welcome to the show, both of you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Let me start by asking the pair of you the same question that I ask all my guests, which is, what makes Fort Erie such a great place to live and work, particularly Ridgeway, since that's where your boutique is?
I would have to say Ridgeway it's like a big community. It's really nice that you can walk down the street and you see someone you know and you can have a conversation with them. And everyone's pretty friendly here.
Right. Yeah, no, I would agree. So for the benefit of listeners then, I'm speaking with Carol, who is the mother of the duo, and Alexandra, who's the daughter of the duo. So we're going to kind of pick up voices here, I guess, for listeners, because they're not going to see our faces in real time. But the pair of you did mention to me before we got started that you have some big news you wanted to announce coming up here very shortly. So Carol, did you want to take a lead on that? Like what's going on at the Village Boutique?
Well, we are really, really excited. We've had a really great run in Ridgeway. Our customers we're very lucky that we have the customer base we have. We're opening a second store in Fonthill, and that's going to happen early March. So stay tuned, watch us on Facebook, and we'll announce the exact openings. But it's a brand new store. Tile got laid today. The cabinets went in today. So we are, we're nearly there. So we're really excited about it.
I mean, are we talking about moving? Is it going to be a very similar type of feel, type of environment? Are you going to be trying something a little different with the new store? What's going to be the same and what's going to be different for customers visiting your new location?
So we love the interior of our store. We picked out everything by hand. We were very meticulous when picking everything out. So we did a mirror image of the Ridgeway store in our new location. Did we even say where the new location is? I don't think so. Yeah, it's in Fonthill on Highway 20. So it's just going to be a mirror image of the Ridgeway store. It's just going to be a larger scale. We have a little bit different of a layout, but it's pretty much going to be the exact same thing. Well, it is. Ridgeway store is 850 square feet. The Fonthill store is going to be 1,500 square feet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we have a broader assortment. We have lots of golf wear coming in. We're going into swimsuits. I mean, so it's a much broader assortment than what we have in Ridgeway. And it's nice because, we still have our online. Customers can go online. They can see what we're carrying. Alexandra can bring things from Fonthill and drop them off at the Ridgeway store. The customer can't get out to the Fonthill store. So, it's going to be, and it's also going to be able to let us service our customers better, because if we don't have a size in Ridgeway, hopefully we'll have it in Fonthill and vice versa. So, hopefully we'll be able to satisfy more customers that way. Yeah.
That's very exciting. And now can I brag to people that they heard it first on the Fort Erie podcast?
Yeah, because when you sent that note inviting us on, I thought, wow, what a great way to launch it. So I promised you big news, and that's our biggest news that we've had in a long time.
Well, that is very exciting. Now let's take a step back. I know the second location is not open yet, but maybe you can speak to this, Alexandra. What is the Village Boutique? What is it all about? Who is it for? What kind of shopping experience could somebody expect coming into your store?
I would say the thing to expect coming into the Village Boutique is our customer service. It's definitely our number one priority. We want to work with customers. We want to develop a relationship with customers. We want everyone to be comfortable coming into our store.
But it's nice too because we honestly get a lot of mother and daughter teams in shopping.
Yeah, so there's something for everyone.
Yeah, we have mother and daughters. We get grandmas and grandchildren, granddaughters coming in. I mean, we get a little bit. We had a pretty wide span of customer base is pretty wide. Yeah.
Now, I did want to touch a little bit on the pandemic, even though I like to keep things positive, because I think, with you opening a second location, that's obviously a testament to your skill as entrepreneurs. But there have been like a lot of hardened Fort Erie entrepreneurs, I'd say, during the last couple of years who have just made things work. How did COVID-19 change your business?
You know what? We have been very, very blessed. We have a great following of customers. I really believe that the people in Ridgeway took to heart. They really cherish the businesses they have downtown. And I really believe that they did everything in their power to keep their money, their disposable income in Ridgeway. I really, really believe that we were always, top of mind. They would come to us first, and then if we could satisfy them, then they would go outside or go to online. But we're really, really blessed with the local people supporting our businesses and recognizing that the downtown core in Ridgeway really is a true gem for them to have.
So when you're not in the store, when you're not kind of running your store, what other local businesses do you love to frequent? I know Ridgeway businesses especially love to support each other and love to say kind things about each other. So what's your thought there?
Okay.
Well, yeah. Okay. I always go to Ashley at Lash Beauty Bar. Amazing. You got to go for all your eyebrows and eyelashes. She does a great job, honestly.
Last night we had, Jen 335. Of course, we had her $40 special, which was amazing.
Well, of course, I'm going to put links in the show notes below this episode to everything that you and the Village Boutique are up to. I want to thank you both so much for spending some time with me today. I really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, we are so thrilled that you got us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
All right, folks, welcome back. We are, as always, going to wrap up today's episode by reviewing some community events. Here's some stuff coming up in Greater Fort Erie over the next week. You can find links in the show notes to any community events that I mentioned today. First and foremost, we've got free public skating happening tonight at the Crystal Ridge Community Center. Next, we have outdoor programming happening at Ferndale Park in Fort Erie. That's going on tomorrow, beginning at 9:30 a.m. You can think of this as an outdoor play dates for the kids, weather permitting. And of course, you can get details in the show notes below this episode. Then coming up on Thursday, February 17th from 4 to 6:30 p.m., again at the Crystal Ridge Community Center, the Ridgeway Lions Club is having their pasta dinner, takeout only, pasta with homemade meatballs and sausage. So if you want to take out a pasta dinner for a good cause, you can check that out. Link in the show notes. And the last event I was going to mention is coming up on Monday, February 21st, Family Day at Icanter Farm. So this is a great day full of family events happening at Icanter Farm in Fort Erie on House Road. So again, for more details, check out the link in the show notes below this episode. If you have a community event or something coming up that you'd like me to promote on a future episode this spring of the Fort Erie Podcast, please don't hesitate to go to theforteriepodcast.com. Click the contact link at the top of the page. Tell me all about your event and I would be happy to promote it. Next week, I'll have a brand new episode for you, Season 5, Episode 2. I'll be joined by repeat guest James Kulik, who many of you know is a local reporter and columnist with Niagara This Week. I wish everyone listening a safe and happy Family Day, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
You've been listening to the Fort Erie Podcast with your host, Brent Jones, a sales representative with RE/MAX Niagara Realty Limited Brokerage. Follow @BuyWithBrent on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for updates. Subscribe to the Fort Erie Podcast on popular platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and catch a new bite-sized episode every week. Until next time.